Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I am not used to having to say all this myself. This is the WOW podcast, WOWW, Wendy's on Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. Wendy Sue Massey. I'm the owner of Freedom Holistic Wellness. I'm an integrative medicine practitioner, an author, holistic nutrition specialist, wife, mom, Gigi, lover of Jesus, lover of all things natural and God-given. And normally, this is where I would introduce my partner in crime, Wendy Flournoy. Our precious Wendy was called away unexpectedly. Her friend Michelle, that we've all been praying for, unfortunately, has taken a turn for the worse. And so she was called by Michelle's brother to come be by her side. So if you guys can please keep her, Michelle, everybody involved in your prayers. For those of you all who have missed that, this is who we have been praying for quite a bit. She has extensive stage 4 cancer all over her body. This is Wendy's lifelong friend since they were preschool age. So just please keep everybody in your prayers. It's very very difficult time for them, and something that we've been praying it wouldn't come to this, but it's unfortunately, she's definitely not doing well. Of course, God has the final say. He can pull out miracles at any moment, and he very well may in this. I always believe he can and will, but just keep everybody in prayer during this heavy time. So today, I was going to skip because I'm not used to doing this on my own, though I don't mind doing it on my own, but boy, I sure do love being here with Wendy. So Wendy encouraged me to go ahead and do this this week. I had a pretty big topic to discuss. So I said, you know what? All right, I'm going to go forward. Next week, you all do not want to miss. Wendy will be back, as well as we are welcoming one of my longtime clients and a lady who has become a dear, dear friend to me, Rochelle. She has had amazing life change in the last couple of years by adapting to this lifestyle that I teach. And I just couldn't think of anybody I would rather have live explain what all has happened to her over the last couple of years, since she discovered what I teach and then joined me in one of my programs, and then has just continued to be an important part of the Freedom Holistic Wellness community. And her story is so inspiring. So I cannot wait to welcome her next week. We are going to do that. All right. So wanted to share some of the new things you may be seeing if you follow me. I have new weekly emails. And first of all, let me just share, I'll be popping these things up periodically, these QR codes at the top left of your screen. This one is for my website. I have not taken down the GLP-1 protocol yet. I had intended to, and last week just got crazy. So if you guys are interested in the GLP-1 protocol and 1-week meal plan, and you are not part of my email list yet, this is the time to get in there. If you click on that QR code, it will take you to my website, which will give you a pop-up for you to join my email list. And part of that is you will receive an email with the GLP-1 protocol with links. Hopefully they're all still active. Sometimes Amazon has a way of deactivating links. And also a 1-week meal plan with recipes and all the things. So I do hope you all will download that and find it useful. I also have, along those same lines, new weekly emails going out. I'm doing Monday motivation, a midweek nourishment. Today I was talking about the benefits of protein, but also why it's so important not to overdo it, like we hear so much in, I don't know, fad diet circles with this carnivore diet and, fitness gurus that are pushing insane amounts of protein. And so I explain why balance is so key in today's midweek nourishment email. Monday motivation, just like what it sounds. I just want to encourage everybody to understand that consistency is the key, not perfection in this lifestyle. And that's what we talked about this Monday. And then I also have a monthly newsletter that's coming out. There are links in most of these for maybe a recipe focused on what I'm teaching or something like that throughout. But yeah, I hope you all will find these useful. If there's ever any information that you're interested in me covering, and that is the primary way that you follow me, let me know. I'm happy to share tips and information in these emails going out to my email community. I created these email touch points just to have more connection points with people, more encouragement. Not everybody feels ready to join our community. Not everybody is ready to jump into a major program. And, quite honestly, I don't share what I used to on social media because of the algorithms. And I just found it to be an insane waste of time. I wasn't going to play Facebook silly games. I still don't. I do post periodically. Well, I actually post daily. I schedule them ahead of time, all of my devotional posts. But I don't put a lot of effort into my social media presence now that I have started working with people in this community, because, wow, what an amazing difference in environments. No ads, no politics, just real data, and also a whole lot of encouragement. I don't have to fight algorithms. I just post and it's there. And anybody who wants the information gets it. It's basically my resource hub for my recipes, for meal plans every week, sometimes 2 a week. For all of my courses I build, everything is in there. And so that is where the majority of my energy goes. But that being said, I know not everybody is in there. We've got about 118 is the last count I remember seeing. So we've got a fair number of people in there, but I have over 2,000 on my email list. So I want to make sure that all those folks that follow me, get encouragement. And that really does mean a lot to me. And along those lines, I am also trying to offer daily encouragement on social media, even though I really have limited a lot of my time on social media. Many of you all have noticed I've been doing a devotional series. For those of you all who have not heard me explain what I'm doing in there, it is a 112-day devotional series that I wrote. 16 weeks of content for folks who join me in my programs or in the community and would like the spiritual healing journey piece addressed. It's always optional. Not everybody is interested in that part of their healing journey, and absolutely their prerogative. But because I am a big believer that healing starts with making sure that our relationship with Christ is strong, and that everything from there is better when you have that piece in line. That's why I do this. And so what I'm sharing with you all on social media is it directly correlates with that 16-week devotional that I wrote. The verse that I include in my devotional every single week, every single day, is corresponding to that devotional that I'm sharing with you all on social media. I'm a little over a third of the way through, not quite half of the way through. Like I said, it's going to be 112 days. And with the encouragement I've gotten and how many people are enjoying this, now you all have me wondering what I'm going to do after this 112 days. But let's get through this first. So I really do appreciate all the feedback I've been getting. And hope you appreciate the message. I had some issues early on in my career, with of this stage of my career, wanting to integrate my faith and the importance of our connection to Christ, and yet not be heretical with it. I don't want to just pull out random verses and be like, oh, this might be talking about this in the Bible, but here's how we're going to use it. And that's not ever my intent. I have been very, very cautious about the way that I use scripture. I'm always very cautious about it. I don't ever want to go against God's intent in any of it. But the way that I see it is this: so many times we separate, and I'm speaking to Christians here. If you're not a Christian, you might not understand why this matters to me at all. And that's okay. I hope you'll still get a lot out of this encouragement that I offer. But if you're a Christian, so many times Christians separate their health journey from their spiritual health journey, their physical from their spiritual. And y'all, there should be no break. I look at scripture as something to guide absolutely every piece of my life. What type of faith do I have in scripture if I don't believe that scripture can guide my weight loss, my health improvement, my getting rid of brain fog, my wanting to reduce physical distractions of pain and disease so that I can focus on Him? How is it separate? It's not. And you know what? I don't mean anything against this. I have pastors I am very much in love with and so respect, but pastors don't talk about this. Nobody talks about this. It is so rarely discussed. And yet we need to understand that how we treat our temple of the Holy Spirit is equally important as what we're getting from scripture to apply to our finances, to apply to, our home life, to apply to how we steward His creation. This is part of His creation, y'all. That's why I take this so seriously. So I hope you all will enjoy this, will glean something from it, and will maybe make that connection with, wow, God is my everything. God is somebody I talk to every single day. I start every day with them. But why do I never ask for Him to help me with my healing? Y'all, that's the breakdown that Christians need to reconcile. And I'm hoping that this helps in that in some way. Also, the devotionals on Facebook that I've been doing, I really have full intent of sharing them on other platforms. Oh, I'm just so far removed from wanting to go crazy on social media. And so I've not been really good and consistent with that. I'm going to try and get better, especially for my folks that aren't on social media. I know they will appreciate this if I had it on YouTube or something. That being said, absolutely everything that Wendy and or I share, whether it be our podcast, my devotional series, anytime that I'm sharing anything, y'all, I can't tell you how much it helps us when you like, comment, and share these things. And if we're talking about the podcast, YouTube has squashed us. We joke every week about Manuka honey or about making sure that YouTube knows that we're not claiming, to be more intelligent than your doctor. But the reality is they have squashed us. And if you all don't get on there and like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, follow what we're doing, share what we're doing, they think you all don't care. They think nobody cares. And we can't get the message out to more people. We've been stuck. We've been at this for almost 2 years, and we've been stuck at 300 and something followers on YouTube ever since they squashed us little over a year and a half ago. So if you all want to help us out, go onto YouTube, go onto Rumble, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. And that really does help us get this message out to more people. All right. Also, I wanted to share about my programming update and the value. I know I went on live yesterday and discussed this a little bit, and then this will be the last thing I talk about before I get into today's topic on seed oils, which I'm very excited about. Man, that's tasty. Um, cinnamon chai tea, so good. Organic cinnamon chai tea, and I put green tea in it as well. So yummy. All right. So want to share this because I'm so excited about it, and I'm not good enough at explaining um things about what I'm doing with clients as much as I should be. I'm not a salesperson, never have been. It's the part I hate about being a business owner the most. Just complete honesty. I look forward to the day, Lord willing, if he ever brings me to this day, when finances and income are so lucrative that I can afford a marketing person, because quite honestly, I hate that part and it's not me. I just want to encourage people. I just want to educate people. I just want to teach people, but I have bills to pay. And so this is just the hardest piece for me, just being honest. So what I wanted to share here is what has changed in my programs, what the cost difference is, zero, and how much more value you're getting. For those of you who have ever considered one of my programs or have done my programs in the past, I have a lot of people coming back to do a second round, some of them even a third round, because they believe so much in what I teach and love the upgrades. So let me just share. Let me tell you what $1,997 included. 16 weeks, detox, food reintroduction, macro balancing, very thorough program, highly successful, incredible results. I mean, I could go on for hours about the people who have had significant weight loss. You're going to meet Rochelle next week, 100 pounds, maybe, well, actually, I think more than that at this point. People that have come off of multiple medications, in some cases, all of their medications, people who have had lifelong struggles with certain symptoms that have gone, people that had no idea that food was affecting their blood pressure, their diabetes, their cholesterol, things like that, that they thought that they were just going to have to be on medications for. And we've been able to completely change their mindset on this. Y'all, I've never once had one person complain about the value that they got in that program for the money at 1997. Never once. Okay. Now, for the same price, $1,997 total, you get a full year of coaching support, not 16 weeks. You get a full year in our community. You get detox and food reintroduction like I did before. You get 2 comprehensive lab panels as part of this. Y'all, up until 3 years ago, the cheapest comprehensive lab panel I could find was $900 per panel. Now I have found a much more affordable, effective one that I was willing to take a pay cut on to make sure that everybody in the program does this. And so they are getting 2 lab panels in that year at that same price. Also, you get 2 recalibration phases during the year with targeted supplementation based on the results of those 2 lab panels. You get personalized supplement guidance in all of that. Also, I had a phase 2 program for folks who finished the 16-week program that many, I would say half of the people I worked with went on and paid for phase 2, which was $2,300 a year for continued support, approximately just under $200 a month. What I have done now in this community is included all of the phase 2 support within the community. So I have eliminated my phase 2 program. So what once would have cost roughly $4,300 in that year time, I have not raised the rate. It is now still $19.97, and I have added all of this. So I really hope you all understand that I took something that was always already perfect. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back, y'all. This is a God breathed program that people have had phenomenal results. But I took something that was already a well oiled machine and added more value and did not add a single dime to the price. So I hope you all will hear my heart in this, that I want to get this out. I do have a lot of people coming to me and getting very excited and joining, but y'all, this is something that I could not be more excited about, to be able to offer something this incredibly high valued for more people to be able to afford. Also, I have flexible payment options. Now, because of the layers to this, you pay separate for the labs, even though they fall under that 1997 window. I have a separate amount, and you can do that anytime in the first 90 days. The coaching piece is the most expensive part, but that covers your full 12 months and can be done with payments as low as $108 a month. It is no longer at this horrible high price point without any options. And when you join the community, that is a separate piece. I just ask that you do that in the first 2 weeks, but you aren't charged for the first 7 days that you're in there. So technically, you could start your payments on the coaching. 3 weeks later, pay for the online community, which is $374 for the year. And then anytime in the 90 days, do your $365, which with my code, I think it usually is $340. But you can do that for the labs. So I hope that this helps you a lot. I know that a lot of people are very, very excited about what this means for their health. And y'all, the data I'm getting now that I am including labs on everybody, I've had labs as an option that cost extra for the last 3 years. The data I'm getting now that I'm actually looking at labs on everybody is mind blowing. And that's what led to the topic that I'm going to be talking about today. Also, I just want to remind anybody in here listening, the 90 some odd people that helped me launch our community back in November and December, if you are still a member and still part of the Sowers launch team, which most of you are, I've only had 1 or 2 people that have stepped away, usually for financial reasons. But if you are still a member of the launch team for Freedom Holistic Wellness Community, the Sowers group, you get a 25% discount off of that coaching piece. So huge savings, even more, and even above and beyond what this already is. So this is honestly the most value I've ever offered at this price point. And because of that, please don't expect, I know that people hold out for, Wendy Massey's big sales. There won't be any more. I'm just being honest. Unless something happens through Function Health or through another company, and I could say, hey, guess what? They're offering $100 off. From my standpoint, I've taken a massive pay cut on this because I want to make this more affordable and even more valuable for more people. So there will not be any more sales. So this is huge. This is huge. This is the absolute bare bones lowest I can go on this. So I do hope you all will join me in that. All right. Before we dive into today's topic, this one's become increasingly confusing online, and yet one of the most important things I'm finding as I go through people's lab work. It'll blow your mind. Let me see. I've got comments. I'm trying to keep up with this. Oh, Cheryl said, love your heart. Michelle Griffey said, will do. I don't know what she was responding to, but I'm so glad to see you both here. Anyway, also, let me change out my little QR code. This is Function Health Labs. This is the ones that I'm talking about. If you are not ready to join our community, if you are not ready to do one of my programs, I still encourage you to do Function Health Labs, and you can set up a 30-minute, if you get your labs done and send them to me when they're all back, which usually takes a couple weeks, and you want to just do a 30-minute consult with me, I believe my online price for that is $107. I'm pretty sure. If that's all you want to do, send them to me ahead of time. You might be paying for a 30-minute consult, but I put about an hour's worth of work before we meet into it so that I can thoroughly go through and make good use of our time in those 30 minutes. I give you a full rundown of everything I recommend based on your labs in that 30 minutes, and then send you a follow-up email with links for my recommendations and all of that. So there's definitely another option there for you. So let's talk about seed oils. Just one last thing on that QR code that's at the top left of your screen. Usually when you use that link, it gives you a $25 discount. I know it always gives a discount. They change it periodically, but to my knowledge, it's still $25 off. All right. Seed oils, omega balance, and choosing fats wisely. This is such a big topic. Let me see if looks like I got another comment. Oh, Michelle was responding to YouTube. Thank you. Yes, please share, like, subscribe, all the things. I appreciate you, honey. All right, diving into today's topic, the real problem with seed oils. You've probably heard people say seed oils are toxic. They're not wrong. While there's truth in some of the concern, that statement alone isn't very helpful, because what that does is that gets people to not include important seed oils too, which are definitely beneficial. And we're going to talk about that. Now, most industrial seed oils are chemically extracted. They are heavily refined. They are exposed to extreme heat, which completely denatures them, and they are oxidized before consumption. Why does this matter? Oxidized fats are so incredibly inflammatory to our systems, drastically increases inflammation, creates oxidative stress, which our cells do not need. Our cells are fighting enough stuff on a regular basis, just with environmental toxins, with exposure that we have no control over. So things like this that we have control over, we should be avoiding. Just period, end of story. This is where I always tell people, look, don't be stressing out about the chemtrails. I'm not saying that's not a valid concern. What are you going to do about it? Hide inside all the time? Please don't. You need to be outside. You need to be in the sunlight. Are you going to completely avoid being out in the world because you're terrified of what's going on in the environment? You're creating more problems for yourself. Okay. We don't have control over that stuff. So you need to control what you have the ability to control. That is where you come in. What are you putting in your body? What are you putting on your body? What household products are you using? These are the things you have control over. And that is where I want your attention to be. We're not going to be able to change what's happening in the atmosphere. My goodness, I wish we could, short of what my plan is, moving to Tennessee, who's outlawing, we have two smart states right now, Tennessee and Florida, for many reasons, but both of them have created legislation to not allow cloud seeding and environmental tampering with the chemtrails and all that kind of stuff, chemtrails, contrails, whatever you want to call them, over their states. So love that. But short of the entire world moving into those two states, we don't have control over it. So I don't want y'all stressing out over that stuff anymore. All right. So I want you to recognize that the oxidized fats increase inflammation, creates oxidative stress, cell membrane dysfunction, and hormone disruption. That piece is super huge. And that is what I'm seeing right now with all of these peri and postmenopausal women I'm working with. Massive hormone disruption as a result of the worst choice of oils versus the better. So you're not just eating fat, you're literally building your cells out of it. Brain cells, all these different cells. And first of all, let's talk about something very important to all of you who, learned how to eat in the 80s and 90s. With all of our horrible information we were given and crappy science that was all based on, it was all money driven. Do not ever eat fat free. Do not demonize fats. Do not have the thought process that fats are bad, because we need fat. We desperately need fat. One of the reasons why we are seeing so many neurological disorders is because those of us in the 80s and 90s did diet everything, fat-free everything. It was horrible. And guess what we were replacing those fats with? Garbage, non-food foods, non-food ingredients. So it's really important that we get this right, okay? Because we've been taught so wrong for so long. So the real issue, let's see here. Oh, Cheryl said, tell Wendy, thank you for my gift. Absolutely. For those of y'all who don't know, we do giveaways in our community every month. Just had another one last night, 3 more people winning, but Cheryl was one of ours last month, and they get amazing gifts. All right. So omega-6 to omega-3 imbalance. This is the bigger issue that I'm seeing over and over again in people's labs. Historically, we had much more balanced ratios. If you can imagine, in our grandparents' time, we were eating a lot more natural foods. We were naturally getting, fish in our diet much more often. We were naturally getting, we certainly were not getting the processed seed oils. We were not getting all of the things that cause the imbalances that we have today. So today we have massive omega-6 overload and we have massive omega-3 deficiency. The health consequences as a result of this: inflammation, joint pain, hormone dysfunction, brain dysfunction, cardiovascular risk, metabolic dysfunction, skin issues, immune system dysregulation. There's so much that this one imbalance has been attributed to. And almost every single person that I work with, first of all, nobody, the best I've had anybody, well, I'll talk about the ratios in a minute. I've only had one person even come remotely close to what is ideal. Everybody else has been grossly out of whack with their omega-6 to omega-3 ratios. And so it's so important that we take this so seriously. And every single one of these imbalances, I've been able to point to, ooh, this is why your cholesterol is what it is. This is why your insulin level and your insulin resistance is what it is. This is why your brain fog is what it is. This is why you have massive amounts of inflammation causing your joint pain. I can see it in the labs, y'all. It's incredible. And your conventional labs won't do this. So that's why I'm a big, big fan of the Function Health Labs. So it is not that omega-6 is evil, because it's not. We need it. It's that we're drowning in it and starving for omega-3s. We are so out of whack with this. So let's talk about how we are not supposed to be fearing all fats. I know I just started touching on it, but I really want to dive in deeper to this. The goal is not to fear fat ever. Like I just got through saying, don't you dare. We need fat. We need fat. I am a big believer that one of the reasons we have, and the studies have proven it, one of the reasons we have so much dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, other neurological disorders is because of not getting enough fat and how long it had been demonized, which is so bad. So the goal is to choose stable fats, reduce inflammatory overload, and intentionally rebalance toward more omega-3. That is our goal. So let's talk first about healthy cooking oils, because I can't talk about seed oils without sharing what are the alternatives that are way better that you don't need to worry about. Coconut oil is not an omega-3 or an omega-6. It is extremely heat stable. It is excellent for high heat, and it is low in unstable fats. So this is a great option for you to cook with anytime, for you to mix into your popcorn, for you to mix into your vegetables. You can have it at low heat, high heat. I know people that put it in their coffee. I used to years ago. It's a great fat option. Okay. It's good for baking, sauteing, roasting, high heat cooking, all of the things. Okay. Next is avocado oil. It is mostly monounsaturated, very heat stable, and it's excellent for higher heat cooking. It's good for roasting, grilling, searing. But you need to understand that not all avocado oils are even created equal, which is very disturbing. A lot of the avocado oils on the market are mixed with cheaper oils. So quality matters. So if you are shopping for avocado oil and choosing the cheapest one available, you're probably getting one that's mixed with stuff that you don't want to be consuming, which is very, very sad. I used to just get an organic, whatever I could find cheapest organic avocado oil. And, in theory, it should be fine. I definitely I wouldn't avoid getting organic. That makes me feel a whole lot better, but still, you got to get good quality. You also want to get cold pressed. So, olive oil, let's move on to that one. Remember, these are all ones I want you to consume. That is best cold or moderate heat. It is rich in polyphenols. It is mostly monounsaturated. I mostly use this in dressings because it doesn't do great at high heat. Drizzled over foods. I'll occasionally use it in moderate cooking, but generally if my recipe calls for me to have a temperature higher than 350 to 375, I usually won't use it past 350, but I won't exceed that. I don't want it to break down and then not be beneficial. That's the whole point. I buy really good olive oil. If you guys have never heard me talk about the olive oil hunter, I am in a quarterly subscription with the olive oil hunter, and I get amazing quality olive oils. Like, I've never had olive oil in my life that I get excited about taking a shot. Like, usually the stuff out of the grocery store, I would never do that with. This stuff is so good. It's crazy. So, I'm not going to take a high quality olive oil, turn around and cook with it at high heat and have it break down. That's just silly. So these are not in the same category as industrial seed oils. So when you are choosing your oils for your kitchen, avocado, coconut, olive, that should be your go-tos. Okay. Let's talk about sunflower oil, because this is one that even I have been all over the place with this over the years. Okay. And I'm going to tell you now what my stance on sunflower oils are. So this is where a lot of people get hung up. So there's standard sunflower oil and high oleic sunflower oil. I'm not going to give you my evolution of this so that I don't confuse anybody. I'm just going to tell you where my stance is now. If you've followed me for any amount of time, you've probably heard me say great things about organic sunflower oil, specifics about high oleic versus non-high oleic. I've tried to give us every excuse under the sun why it's okay in small doses. In the past, I was okay with small amounts of organic sunflower oil occasionally, but the more labs I've reviewed, I've completely eliminated that stance. We don't need any additional omega-6s because I can tell you right now, the only sunflower oils you're finding are in your processed foods. They might be healthier processed foods, but they're still processed foods. Okay. I'm not telling you that you can never, ever, ever get a bag of chips, but y'all, there's a lot of great options out there that use avocado oil, that use coconut oil. So I have now gotten to the point where I just don't anymore. I won't use them. Anything with sunflower oil, I put it right back. So, I don't panic over trace amounts, but most people simply do not need more concentrated omega-6. They just don't. And we need to focus on the omega-3s. All right, let's talk about nuts, nut butters, and seed butters, which you can't have a conversation about our omegas and about seed oils without understanding about the nuts or seeds themselves and the butters, the more concentrated. So no fear on these, but mindfulness matters, balance matters. There are better choices. Walnuts going to be your best choice for nuts. It is the most perfect food out there that has the perfect omega-6 to omega-3 balance. It's incredible. Now, if you're already getting too many omega-6s, you probably don't even need much of that. But when you are looking at the profile of a walnut, you are getting a 2-to-1 ratio. Sometimes, when they test them, it might be 3-to-1, 4-to-1. But even still, if we're anywhere between a 1-to-1 and a 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s, you're in a good place. Most walnuts are 2-to-1 ratio, omega-6 to omega-3. That's amazing. So you're better off choosing walnuts. Next in line would be macadamias. And next in line after that would be pecans in moderation. I need you to have caution with peanuts, with almonds in excess, with sunflower butter. That was probably what jacked my omega-6s up, because I can tell you, when I had mine done last, I was on a kick of whenever I was, feeling snacky, I'd just go grab a spoonful of sun butter, because I was like, well, this is relatively, mild on the option list, and I think I'm doing just fine. And then I saw my omega-6s were through the roof, and I don't eat processed foods. So I'm certain that's where mine came from. If you use nut flours a lot, I'm looking at you, keto folks. When I was on keto, I used almond flour probably every day to make different products. I still do today, but I do not use them often. When I use them, they are very much in moderation, but heavy nut flour use is way too high in omega-6s. Nut butters every single day in large amounts, very high in omega-6s. Now, omega-6s we need, but I'm here to tell you, if you're getting your standard serving of a 1/4 cup of nuts or seeds, you're getting adequate omega-6s just in normal foods, okay, without adding all of that. Does that mean you can never have almond butter again, or never make my delicious almond flour bagels? No, doesn't mean that, but don't make them an important part of your daily intake, okay? So now let's talk about therapeutic seed oils. And I just want to stress again, nothing wrong with nuts and seeds, y'all. It's not a problem with occasional use, or that little one serving a day, or sprinkling some pumpkin seeds on your salad, things like that. That's not the issue. It's people who have chronic overload of these foods, and that is not uncommon. That is not uncommon at all. All right, before I move on to the next one, let's see who is next. Oh, this is actually a really good time to bring this up, and I'll tell you why. This is my We Heart Nutrition. Folks, these are supplements that anybody that's followed me any amount of time, this is the first company I have ever fully stood behind. And most people do trust me with my recommendations of supplement companies, because they know that I don't throw my name behind just any supplement company. This is one that is incredible when it comes to the ingredients they use, third-party tested, the way they source them. And then on top of that, they're a Christian company who pours a lot of their proceeds into helping and building pro-life centers there in Texas, probably all over the country at this point. But I know in Texas, they've done a lot of work with this. So I just love them. And they're a small company. And I hear from the owner and his wife all the time. They're just salt of the earth people. So that is my QR code for them. And if you use Wendy 20 at checkout, you will get a 20% discount off your first order. I'm going to share something about a product that they have in a minute. But overall, I use their women's multivitamin, 40 plus multivitamin. My daughter-in-law uses their prenatal vitamins. I have everybody using their probiotic. It's the best probiotic I've found. Amazing profiled one. I use their magnesium glycinate. So my husband uses their men's multi. So they've got really, really good quality stuff. All right, let's talk about therapeutic seed oils. These are more medicinal than everyday oils. Okay. Pumpkin seed oil. This is incredible. I'm actually getting ready to start using this therapeutically for just the stage of life I'm in. And I do see the benefits of it. And I haven't started yet, but I'm going to start. So it has benefits for your bladder health. So those of you ladies in our age range that, have to deal with all the fun things with having a weak bladder in our mid-age and older age, this actually has shown to have benefit for that, as well as hormone balancing, thinning hair. It's high in antioxidants, but it is still omega-6 dominant. So when you use this, you use intentionally and you use it in small amounts. So, mixing it into your salad dressing that you're making, using that as the oil instead of olive oil, or maybe you want both, a little of both. You're just using a little bit to drizzle it onto a salad. You can take a spoonful of it, but mixing it up with fats and proteins is going to help you absorb it better. One that I do use every single day is black seed oil. It comes from black cumin seed. The benefits for this are incredible. This is an excellent addition to your supplement regimen. I just put a teaspoon in my nighttime tea. It can be very helpful with your nervous system balancing. So that's why I take it at night. It is very beneficial for immune support. So those of you all who have autoimmune disorders, this is very beneficial to this. It's anti-inflammatory. It provides excellent gut support. I am personally using it not only for nervous system balancing, but also for my thyroid. For those of you all who have heard me talk about this ad nauseum, and one of the many reasons I love Function Health is because they finally made me realize I was not crazy when I kept thinking I had something wrong with my thyroid, and all conventional labs said I was fine. I recognize I have an autoimmune attack on my thyroid, and the number that indicates that, the thyroid peroxidase antibody that was grossly elevated for me, has come down 60 points since I have started using this. So I'm going to keep on using it and hopefully bring it all the way down. But anyway, it's very good for that purpose. Use it medicinally, not heavily. I use 1 teaspoon a day. I do not use, a quarter cup or anything like that. I don't mix it into my recipes, though, if you like the taste, you probably could use that as a portion of your salad dressing or something like that. But I love the taste that it gives me mixed into my chamomile tea. So I enjoy it at night. Another one, sesame oil. Benefits to this. Are benefits to sesame oil. It's high in antioxidants. It does have a lot of traditional medicinal uses, and it's really good for cardiovascular support. A lot of people are very surprised about this, and it should just be used intentionally. Also, I will add to this sesame oil as well as other more beneficial oils, especially when you buy them cold pressed. Very, very important that you get them cold pressed. They are not denatured by heat. They are literally pressed, just like they're pressing olives to make olive oil. You want cold pressed, extra virgin. Sometimes it'll say first press, but this is what you want of the sesame oil. When you do this, you are not having to stress out about the processing of the sesame oil. It is very different, which we'll cover in a minute on the industrial seed oils, what makes that so different. And again, sesame oil, intentional use. You don't want excessive amounts of any oil, especially not these therapeutic oils, but they do have a place in our life and don't need to be avoided. The only time I really use sesame oil, other than some things topically, is in my food when I'm making an Asian dish. I love that flavor of the sesame oil with my coconut aminos and ginger and things like that. So I will use it then. And it does just fine in those cases. All right, let's talk about flax oil. This is one that a lot of people don't talk about. Flax is supportive, but it's not ideal as a primary omega-3 strategy. Flax is omega-3 heavy, which is wonderful. That's what we want. That's why I include flax seeds along with my chia seeds in a lot of my dishes that I am consuming chia. I'll just add flax to that as well so that I get two decent sources of omega-3s. But flax contains ALA, alpha lipoic acid. They must convert into the EPA and the DHA, which is something that is very, that's the kind we need. The EPA and the DHA are the omega-3s we need. So when you're having to deal with a product that is high in omega-3s but needs to convert, you're just adding another layer, and conversion a lot of times is very, very poor. Also, there's stability issues. So flax oil oxidizes easily in heat, in light, and in air. So if it's improperly stored, it quickly becomes damaged oil. So it's not one of those things you just want to have on your, in your cabinet for years and years and just use periodically. It's going to get denatured very easily. So if it's improperly stored, like I said, it becomes damaged. So let's talk about the best ways to increase omega-3, because I want you all leaving here with some good nuggets on how to improve this, because this is where I really want people focusing. Fatty cold water fish for the win, y'all. This is the best. And I know a lot of you are not big fish eaters. I'm not a big fish eater, but I'm learning to love salmon. I already liked it. I just didn't cook it because nobody else in my family eats it, but I'm changing that here. So fatty cold water fish, salmon, sardines. I'm also trying to learn to like those, y'all. I've been cutting them up into my tuna and it's at least helpful. And mackerel. So these are direct sources of EPA and DHA, the types of omega-3s we need for our for the most beneficial fat profile in our bodies. The most effective therapeutic tool, say you're somebody that knows I'm not going to eat 3 to 4 times a week, salmon and sardines. If someone is truly deficient, you need a very high quality fish oil to raise levels. And that's why I wanted to bring up the We Heart Nutrition. If you guys didn't already trust me with supplement recommendations, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're deficient in omega-3, don't buy We Heart Nutrition's fish oil. Are you shocked to hear me say that? I recommend them for their quality, and that particular fish oil is wonderful if you just need something to help you with maintenance. It is not a very high potency fish oil. Wonderful quality, wonderful for maintenance. Say you've been doing great, you've already overcome your massive deficiency, you're eating enough, and you just need something for a little bit of a maintenance supportive dose. They're excellent. The majority of people that I've seen need so much more than that. They need high potency. So if you're truly deficient, a good quality, high potency fish oil, omega-3 fish oil is the best way to go. The one I'm currently using and recommending to everybody that I'm working with is the micro ingredients triple strength omega-3 fish oil. It is lemon flavored, which will shock you all because I'm always telling you don't get flavored stuff, but they use actual lemon oil for it. So they are not using a fake flavoring. They're using actual lemon oil for that. But it's 4,200 milligrams in the 3 capsules you take a day. So it's a very good high potency fish oil. Some other supportive things that can help. Pastured eggs, not eggs in general. That's a whole nother podcast. All eggs are not created equal. Pasture raised eggs are very helpful. They're higher in omega-3s than any of the other eggs because the chickens are actually eating the way they were designed by God to eat and not from a whole bunch of feed that we give them. So pastured eggs are helpful, but they are not strong enough on their own. Okay, they're a source of omega-3s. They are not the best source of omega-3s, but definitely should not be ignored. I eat a lot of hard-boiled eggs from our chickens that I know are pastured and do really well. All right, here's another one: algae oil. It's a good vegan option for people who don't want the fish oil, but it is a lot less potent, often a lot lower EPA. So while it's a fine option, it's not the best option if you need to reach therapeutic levels. It would be a good maintenance option, just like I shared with the We Heart Nutrition fish oil. Also krill oil, one that I used to recommend across the board. I no longer do because it's a great, well-absorbed omega-3. The problem is it's a lot lower potency. So it is supportive, but it is not best for severe deficiency. And like I said, I've recently shifted my mindset on this because I used to tell everybody, just go with the krill oil. It was easier to stand the taste. It was, very well absorbed. But the problem is it's just not powerful enough, y'all, for all of these massive deficiencies that I have been seeing. So final teaching summary on this piece. You got to reduce processed oils. Your canola, your soybean oil, your just standard vegetable oils, cottonseed. What else do you see a lot of? Safflower. Any of those are extremely heavily high heat processed oils. They are so inflammatory to our bodies. If you are consuming any processed foods, you're consuming these. I'm just here to tell you that's what is in these things. They are so devastating to your body's function. They just are. Inflammatory overload, concentrated omega-6 excess. If you're eating processed foods, if you're eating fast food, if you have a regular habit of going to Chick-fil-A, of going to, different fast foods or even chain restaurants, your Outbacks, your, I don't know, Chipotle's, all of these, they are using industrial seed oils. They are. That is what they use in their foods. Yes, there is starting to become more awareness. And so you hear of people like Steak and Shake, which is nowhere near me, so I can't really speak to them. But I know that I've seen where they're going with beef tallow for their fries and things. Fantastic. Make sure that their fries are only potatoes because that's where they get you too. So anyway, you absolutely have got to avoid the processed foods. Also, we want you to use the stable fats like we talked about, the therapeutic oils intentionally, increase your omega-3 rich foods, fatty fish, and then supplementation when needed. And guys, right now, I'm telling you, I'm taking high doses of fish oil. Now, who is this contraindicated for? If you're on blood thinners, if you bruise super easily, we can't treat it like a free for all. I mean, you very well could get way too thin of blood with super high amounts of fish oil. So if you are listening to me and you're on Coumadin or you're on Plavix or something like that, and or you already know you already have a difficulty with thin blood, you want to be cautious with this. But it is, if you're the majority that doesn't have all of these problems, you really, really, really need to get a therapeutic amount of omega-3s in. Let's see. Last little thing on this. Your body does not just respond to what you eat, it responds to the balance of what you eat over time. And if you fix your omega balance, you'll often improve far more than you expect. When I tell you, I mean, I already said this, but seriously, when you see the amounts of conditions that I have seen affected by having way too little omega-3s, it's incredible. And just to give you an idea, we are supposed to, I started to hint on this and I forgot to fully wrap up this thought. We should be anywhere between 1-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio and 4-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. That's where we should be. I have seen one person in 2 years at a 6-to-1 ratio. The majority of people I work with are 10-to-1, 15-to-1, 25-to-1. And these are people who are otherwise eating healthy. Now, not all of them. The ones that tend to be up at the higher end, they haven't worked with me as long. They still have processed foods in their life that they're trying to learn how to live without. That is the difference that I'm seeing. And those people that are running 20-to-1, 18-to-1, 25-to-1, these are the ones that are dealing with extreme inflammatory disorders in their body. And it's largely processed food driven. So do the best you can with the omega-6s. You don't want to avoid them all entirely, but do the best you can choosing the healthiest and limiting them. But make it more your goal to boost the heck out of those omega-3s. So I really hope that this encourages you and that you've thought of some new ways that you can do that based on what I'm sharing. Let's see here. Oh, Cheryl. Cheryl is my dear friend from church that keeps trying to encourage me to eat sardines. She is a big fan. I am not. I'm trying. And it's more mental. It's not, I mean, when I mix it in with the tuna, I can't even taste it. But, I so badly want to be a big sardine fan, and I just can't make myself. I'll get there one day. Anyway, I hope this helped. So let's wrap up with some final updates and things like that. I wanted to share a homestead update. I get a lot of questions about Grayson Grove Homestead, and my goodness, we are really enjoying everything about. We just had our 1-year anniversary here on the homestead. Things have moved a little bit slower than we intended, but quite honestly, getting things up to where we want them takes money. And it's not something that's been just massively flowing this last year since we've moved in. So it is something that we are slowly getting there. Our biggest focus right now is maintaining the orchard that we planted as soon as we moved in and getting all of our garden beds all set up. We have a phase 2 and phase 3 plan for our garden beds. Very excited about those. But for this year, phase 1, we have a bunch of beds already up. We're adding cattle panels this week. We're going to start doing a lot more vertical gardening just to make better use of our space. Anybody that has followed us for a long time, we've always had a huge in-ground garden. We decided, it was like 60 by 60 plus raised beds around the outside edge. We decided that when we moved, we were not going to do any more in-ground gardening. I'm glad we made that decision because the ground here is insanely hard and rocky and nothing but clay, worse than I ever had in my old clay soil. So I'm glad we're doing all raised bed gardening. But we do have plans to expand that even more. So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm also doing an herb garden right now before we get to phase 3, which will be in raised bed perennial beds where I can do my herbs out there. But until then, I'm doing my perennial herbs on my patio so that I have access to them nice and close to the kitchen. And I'm really excited to get those rolling. We are going to be adding some of our warmer weather crops this year, this week. Not all of them, but a lot of them we're going to be adding, and we're going to be wrapping up phase 1 of our raised bed gardens by the end of this month. So very, very excited about that. I also just really want to encourage you all, however I can. Wendy and I have talked a lot about this in our podcast, is, when you can, grow what you can. Real food is key to eliminating your inflammation. Real food is key to, having options that you can control. One of the greatest gifts I've ever given my family, especially my children, is the love of gardening. I watch my kids in their 30s out there raising gardens and getting my grandbabies excited about it. I mean, it's the most amazing thing one of the most amazing gifts I could have ever given them was a love for gardening. My daughter is not a big vegetable eater, but boy, does she love to eat the veggies that she's grown. She's proud of it. She knows what she's, the effort she's put into it. And it's amazing. So I hope, even if all you do is grow some broccoli sprouts on your kitchen counter, which I've taught in our podcast before, I may have to pull that back out again. But, one thing that you grow, pick radishes. Throw some radish seeds in a big pot on your deck. You don't have to have tons of space. Just start growing something that you can enjoy and eat. And it just makes all the difference in the world. Let me see here. Cheryl's got some other comments here. Any thoughts on co-op gardening? Well, I'm a big fan. It's very hard to find other people interested in that. We actually got approved, Cheryl, for us to do that at our church and be able to raise a nice community garden. But yeah, it's very hard to find people in this day and age willing to pour a lot of effort into their own gardening and willing to swap out things. I do it with a couple of people, which is always exciting. One of my friends, Lisa, I know she and I have traded herbs and done things like that, but certainly a big fan if you can find people willing to do it. And she said, maybe try pickled herring. Whew, it's going to be a whole nother step on that one. Maybe. I've never tried that either. I've just never been a huge fish eater. Never been a huge fish eater. I don't hate it, but y'all, I was raised on Long John Silver's. Like I didn't know fish outside of that. And that's garbage. Long John Silver's and Captain D's was the extent of fish sticks, Morton's fish sticks. That's the seafood I was raised on. So when I grew up and decided I was not going to eat things like that and, eat real fish, I enjoy some. I've just never been a big fan of cooking it because I'm the only one that eats it. But awesome. Cheryl said me. I will keep that in mind, honey. We could swap some things for sure. Also, some other benefits to gardening, not just getting real food, but allowing yourself that time to slow down and really appreciate what goes in to God's creation when you're growing it. It's amazing. Yes, you can get rapid results for certain things. We live in this microwave generation where everything has to happen now. What I just it's amazing when you're forced into slowing down. It's something so many of us don't do. Um, I slow down and I get to enjoy my feet in the dirt, my hands in the dirt, watching for those little sprouts to pop up. We joke about it because Bill and I, the day after we plant something, we're out there looking, is anything sprouted? No, it's not sprouted yet, but we're going to look anyway. We get excited about it and just watching the evolution of all these things. The most rapid thing you're going to get is radishes. You plant those and they're ready in 3 weeks, to start picking. So, such a great forced slowdown in this such busy microwave generation that we live in. I mean, it's very therapeutic. And also when you're growing your own foods, especially when you're doing it organically, you're growing nutrient dense food much more so than what you get in the grocery store. When they are force growing things rapidly in hot houses and using all kinds of chemical, um, uh, things in their like fertilizers and stuff like that in their soil to to encourage rapid growth, you are not getting the same nutrient density that you would get um, in your own homegrown foods. It's so much more beneficial. So, just to wrap up, boy, I miss Wendy. I just want to encourage you all to engage in what we're doing. I know you have a lot of options out there of what you're watching and who you're listening to. But social media, YouTube, Rumble, they don't give two rips about what we're doing, and they will not put us in front of other people if you all don't share when we say something that you appreciate. So if you all will please comment, like, share. If you're on YouTube or Rumble watching us, subscribe to our channel. Those things don't cost you a dime, and they go so much further than anything you could imagine in getting us in front of more people. Definitely share our podcast, subscribe, come join our community. Y'all, it's $374 a year. And I am about to do week 5 of 7 or session 5 of 7 in our aligned thyroid support program. And starting the second week in June, I think last week I might have said the first week, but I looked at the timeline and that's not true. The second week in June, we're going to start a brand new hormonal support program focusing on younger women, what to expect with perimenopause, what to expect if you're already in perimenopause, how to support your body better, and how to continue supporting your body post-menopause. This is something I've been asked to do for a long time and just never felt strongly enough about it until a hormone crazy imbalance rocked my world with this frozen shoulder thing I've been dealing with. So I have become quite the expert in hormone management and in nutrient management during perimenopause and postmenopause. And we are going to start a 6-week series on that the second week in June. When you're in the community, you get all these courses for free at no added cost. I used to charge about the amount that I'm charging you for an entire year in the community for one of these programs, and yet you get them all. And I don't get rid of them. I keep building them in a course library so you all can go and pull them out whenever they're beneficial for you, whenever you need them. So I just highly encourage you to join our community. We are doing some amazing things in there, and people are just thrilled to be a part of it. If you are interested in a more long-term program, like what I shared at the beginning of this podcast, I'm up to over $4,300 in value of what it would have cost you just 6 months ago to do this work with me. And did not raise my prices. I increased the value by that much, and it is still the same price it was. So more than double the value that it was when nobody complained about the value before. These are just things I really felt strongly about adding to the program to be even more beneficial for participants. So this is about learning how to support your body in a way that actually works. And once you understand it, everything changes. So I do hope you all have enjoyed this. I hope you all will keep Wendy in your prayers. I'm sure she's watching this at some point. So, Wendy, we love you. I don't like doing this without you. It is nowhere near as much fun. This is my girl time on Wednesdays. Definitely join us next week when Wendy is back and when we have our dear friend Rochelle, who is joining us and is going to blow your mind. She is going to encourage you so much. She's such an inspiration, and I just cannot wait for her to share her testimony with you all on what this lifestyle has done for her over the course of the last 2 years. All right. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Like, subscribe, share, and just keep on letting us know how we can support you, because Wendy and I, we don't do this to hear ourselves talk, y'all. We do this to encourage you all and support you all in your own health journeys. And we love you guys so much. See you all next week. Love y'all. Live well.